Welcome to Comedy Centric, your place for all things comedy. Every week, we'll discuss the legends and the people who built the business, the performers, writers, behind the scenes, and stories that you have never heard. So relax, take a load off, and join us for this episode of Comedy Centric. Now, the host of your show, nationally headlining comedian, a woman with a wicked sense of humor and a killer Jersey accent, Julia Scotti.
We need a montage. We need, when they play that, they should have like all the celebrities that have been on this podcast so far.
Yeah, well, we'll get one. We'll get people on that.
We'll get a celebrity on eventually.
You want a montage, honey? We'll get you a montage.
I want it for Christmas. Get me a montage.
What do you want? Hi. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm
good.
Yes. Big show. I'm excited.
Today's show, yeah.
Yes.
We have a great big show, but don't say a word yet.
No.
About it.
When can I say a word?
In a bit. So a couple of things. I got my bamboo toilet paper.
And
I gotta say, I kind of like it. It's durable.
Yeah.
It's soft.
Yeah.
It's 3-ply, not 2-ply. 3-ply, which is important.
Do you find yourself using less?
I'm very conscious of it. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
And every time it contributes to my functions because I feel good about the planet when I'm using it.
Does it feel different, than?
No,
like
it's
name
very
brand?
No, it feels better than some of the name brands
Really?
I've used. Yes. Oh, yes.
What is the price point for this?
It's a little bit more expensive than regular toilet paper, but not that much. It's
Okay.
But to save the planet, don't you want to save the
Oh,
planet?
absolutely. I'm just saying not everybody
What kind of
has
person are
the
you?
means. And again, not like you're Daddy Warbucks or anything.
I'm not mommy Warbucks either, but I'm conscious of the planet.
It's a Warbucks.
I want to leave the world a better place than I found it.
Well,
I didn't find it.
One bathroom visit at a time. You're going to save the planet.
One small crap for man. One giant crap for man. Anyway, all right,
Mommy Warbucks.
Go ahead.
All right.
What
are you doing back there?
I'm getting a tissue, so talk to the
You're
audience.
blow your nose? You're going to mute yourself? No, you're just going to do it right.
Oh my God. I got sinuses. It's allergy season. So, Bros open this weekend.
Yeah, the Billy Eichner flick.
Yeah, very excited. I tell you something. I loved it. I mean, it's really genuinely funny. I went.
Yeah, you saw it, right?
Yeah, I did. I went with my neighbor, and she's a cisgender straight woman, and she laughed her ass off. It was. There's some, some people have made the case that this movie is too gay. It's too gay oriented,
Gay.
As Kevin Meaney would say, gay. But it's gay. It's about a gay couple and how they fell in love. Just like when, if you put Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks in there, you would have, Sleepless in Seattle. I mean, it's the same premise. It's a rom-com. It's just it happens to be gay. Two men that fall in love, and these people are, some of them actively boycotting it, which is a shame because they're really missing a good, funny film. Yeah.
This really chaps your ass. The people is it a boycott or is it they just don't go?
I don't know why it wasn't filled. I mean, in certain cities, like Los Angeles, I understand it was packed out. And
sure.
But in Middle America, of course, and down here, I live down in South Jersey, which is very, I hate to say it, but it's very red counties. And I don't know if it did better. I went to an early show. I don't know if it did better over the weekend, but from what I read, the numbers were like you said 8 million, I read 4 million. So let's split the difference and say 6 million in sales. Yeah.
I think it probably speaks to the fact of where we are as a society in terms of if it impacts me, I'm interested. If it doesn't, I can't relate to it. And as a gay woman, and you as a
what?
I know. So we're kind of forced to go to accept everybody else's PDA and everybody else's idea of what a romance is, but yet for our world, it's very much, you know, we go through everything else. Like, you worry about the first date. You worry, there's no difference other than the fact that it's,
And it's
female,
funny.
female, as opposed to male, female. What?
It's just flat out laugh out loud funny.
I didn't go yet,
Yeah.
but I'm going to go. And
Okay. And if you do go, make sure you bring some bamboo toilet paper with you.
I'm going to.
All right. So I've bitched and moaned about that now. So you probably
got it off your chest.
Well, speaking of my chest,
Look at your chest.
Look what I'm wearing. And in the back of me, on that side, you can see a Funny Women of a Certain Age poster. Now, that's a clue as to who our guest is, Kat. Can you guess?
Well, I know, so it wouldn't be fair for me to guess.
Well, I'm happy. I can't, this in show business, we always get jealous when people do wonderful things and we're not the person doing them. But this woman, I just love her on so many levels. And yes, Carole, we're going to tell the story again about the special, but we've known each other for probably close to 40 years.
Wow.
And I've known. Oh yeah, she knew me before. We weren't close friends before. We've gotten really close. I think I'd like to think since
your rom-com.
Since my rom-com. Oh yeah, I'm in it too. So anyway, but it's a joy to bring on
writer, director, producer,
mother,
comedian,
actress.
Oh God, I'm exhausted.
Right?
Former mayor of Cleveland.
Oh, not that.
Carole Montgomery.
Hi.
Move over a little bit. You're out of the frame.
Oh, I'm out of frame.
There you go.
Because I'm just getting comfortable.
A little bit more.
All right, Jesus.
A little bit. No, you still have.
Look,
You
she's
like
busting your balls already.
She's out of the frame. I want to
She always busts my balls. That's what Julia does with me. She likes to bust.
That's the 40-year relationship.
My cojones.
So Kathy was surprised that we've known each other as long as we know each other.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was 40 years.
Yeah, well, we both. Yeah, we've been both in the business since the late. I started 79. So,
I started in 80.
Yeah, so I mean we've known each other forever, but we really we got close, I would say, the last few years, 5 years.
Probably the last. Yeah, maybe a little bit longer. We hooked up again at an audition for a gig, and
that kind of launched your conversations again.
Yeah, I looked a lot different prior to that. So
you did.
We had.
But I will tell you this, Kathy, being on the road with her drove me out of my fucking mind.
Tell me the worst part. You didn't let her drive, did you?
No, this is Julia when she's on the road. First thing she has to do, she has to have coffee. We have to have coffee. I have to have a cup of coffee. All right.
First thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning. But then after dinner time, she'd want a cup of coffee. And, sometimes you're in places where they don't have fucking coffee.
Well, you should have put us in better hotels.
Right. Yeah. But we actually, I had so much fun with her on the road. Seriously, it was.
How long were you guys on the road?
How long were we on the road?
I know we did 2 trips, didn't we?
Yeah, 2 different trips, but like a week, basically a week. We'd go away and then we'd fly out the night before. Then we do a gig. Then maybe we drive the next day and do a gig. So about a week.
Well, we were doing Funny Women of a Certain Age shows.
Yeah,
that was the key.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. I missed you on this last tour.
I thought about you, and I really, I was at a very good function for the LGBT community, and I thought about you though, and I saw how much fun you guys had.
Yeah, and you would have just, I know that you look at the red states and you're like, they won't like me, but you would have crushed. You would have fucking crushed. They were so great.
It was great. You had the Caroline Ray, and
Missy Hawk.
I keep calling Missy Grinkowitz, but she's not Grinkowitz anymore.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And when Thea was supposed to do it, and she was too sick, She had to cancel like 2
Oh,
days ahead of time.
well, tell everybody. Let's go back in time and do the history of Funny Women, so you know. Yeah,
Back in
make the screen
time.
wavy, Jimmy. Make it wavy.
But you know the story.
I know the story, but we have
Okay.
I don't know,
Right.
6, 7 listeners, and Kathy doesn't know the whole story.
Okay, so I've been doing stand-up. Like I say, I like to say I've been doing stand-up since the beginning of time. And when I started out, there were not a lot of women in the business, So the excuse when there was only one woman on a show, you could understand it because there wasn't a lot of us. And of course, now we're in the 21st century, and there's still only one woman on the show. And I was doing a similar podcast with some older women, and we were having such a good time. And I remember calling my husband. Because it was somewhere out in Queens, the actual studio, and I called him up and I said, why I want to do a show with just older female comics. It's the only time in my entire career my husband went, that's a good idea. Because in this business you throw shit against the wall and hopefully something sticks. And from that, that it just kind of snowballed into a pretty big deal.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah. So we started with a residency at the Crane on the Lower East Side. And then we did a showcase. You were on, I think, the first show we did at the Crane,
First or
right?
second one. Yeah, I think that, first or second.
And then, and literally, when I was thinking of people for the show, she was probably one of the first or second.
I was at the show the night the Showtime people came.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know which one that was. I was also on that one. So
yeah. So I wanted Julia to be part of it from the beginning. And it, it's turned into a nice, I'm very proud of the show. It's basically, it's all female headliners and they're over 50. It's an untapped market. It's still an untapped market. Do you know what I mean? It's still to this day, like I feel like I took 2 steps forward and like 10 steps backwards, because ageism and it's still just such a huge thing in this business.
Now, do you have a standing agreement with Showtime to continue, or is it like just show by show? Like
it's basically show by show, but they get what's called in the business first refusal.
Okay.
So we are in talks with them right now for a 4th one. Great. But the problem is that Showtime's been amazing to us. They have, if it wasn't for them, none of this would have happened as far as the TV stuff. But the problem with Showtime is, as opposed to, let's say, HBO or Netflix, their main focus is not stand-up comedy. They do not even have a stand-up comedy department. Do you know what I mean? So we went through somebody else that we knew that was able to get us in that way. So it's hard, because it always feels like I'm pulling teeth with them. I love them, but it's like, you have something. You are the network that pushed this through. That's a big badge of honor to be able to do that. So we're waiting to see. It all hinges on whether or not we can get a celebrity. When the show was originally,
well, I'm a movie star now.
Yes, you are. But
we just had a big conversation about a cameo. So
yes, yeah,
what a cameo is.
Yeah, but you've already done the show, so we have to get. Yeah,
well, you could do a best of and bring back.
Right,
boy, she's insatiable.
I'm still waiting for America's Got Talent to bring me back.
Right.
They brought everybody else back. They brought dead people back. They still haven't asked me to come back. So
they're bringing Whitney Houston's hologram back.
So go ahead, Kev.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kev.
No, go ahead.
No, you go.
Somebody fucking say something.
So what's next for you? Like, what else are you doing, Carole?
It's really interesting. I still want to do the show. We parted ways with the production company that was producing the show. So I'm taking on the gigantic task of trying to book the show by myself on the road, which is
you're doing it. You're gonna do it?
Well, for the time being, because you know what I mean. But that's okay. We have tentative dates already for 2023. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it, and it's a lot of work to be a producer and then to also be a comedian.
I was going to say, so you're still trying to write during this
Exactly.
entire process and work out your stage act, and then
Right.
also like, and then you put your manager hat on and go, okay,
Right.
or your production hat and go,
Right.
okay.
You're
hard.
also producing other people's shows too, correct?
Yes.
Or a show?
Well, I'm still working with Caitlin Bailey on a show called Whore's Eye View, which is basically we like to call it a hilarious romp through the beginning of history of sex workers. A hilarious romp.
Well, why don't you tell
what's
tell
not
our
funny
six-
about
tell our
that?
six listeners who Caitlin is, so they know if they don't. know.
Caitlin Bailey is a young female comic. We bonded many years ago. I'm not one of the. I like to help people, and I like, not that Julia doesn't, but comics for we yeah, exactly. We're not prone to being nice to people. So you know what I mean? Because what you said is very true. Is like comics will look at another comic and go, I can do that, and it's like, and that's, we're all ingrained in that. Anyway, I met Caitlin a couple of years ago. We actually a while ago, more than that. It was before the pandemic, and she was a sex worker when she was 17 years old, and she's also an activist for sex workers' rights. She has a company called Old Pros online, and so it's like one of the last bastions of things that aren't the mainstream, and she's trying to make it mainstream. And the Whore's Eye View is so it's funny, it's really informative, it really is a history, and you're like, oh, this is interesting. So I'm working with her on that. I have another young lady named Merritt Khan who reached out to me online, and we work online. She's out of Colorado. I'm working with her. I want to work with Julia on her solo show if she'll ever get off her ass.
You never said that.
I told you that years ago.
Years ago.
When we were at the diner, the Westway Diner.
I know where we were. I remember.
All right, so just, and there's a few other people. Leanne Lord has a show in her. Like, there's a lot. I don't have to do stand-up anymore. I'm really being honest about this. I mean, I love it. It's fun, but I love all the behind things. I love the production. I love directing.
You always kind of gravitated toward that anyway. I mean, that
was
yeah. And you have a workshop too, right?
Yeah, I'm teaching. I teach stand-up too. I'm doing that. I teach at QED. So I just, this gets back to why I created the show. So when I moved back here, I want to say, so it was 2000.
Where's here?
New York City. Yep. Sorry. I lived in Vegas for 10 years. And when I moved back, I think I was like 48. It was, so I was in my late 40s. And I already saw the writing on the wall as far as me as a comedian. Now, I was a road dog, just like Julia was. I mean, I was, I had a lot of TV credits, and all of a sudden I wasn't getting work. And this was before TikTok. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I was not getting work. I was not considered a national headliner, even though I headlined pretty much I think I worked every state except for the South, because something about them not liking Jews. I don't know. So, and I was like, okay, if I want to stay in this business, I'm going to have to do something that can keep me in the business. And that's when I started to directing. And, I directed Jim Florentine's solo show, which is on Amazon Prime, which I'm very proud of. And that's how I started. I started teaching. I started producing. I actually worked as an agent for 6 months because I wanted to get, that was actually, it's so funny because, you always wonder why you do things in your life or why they come to you. And I think that ended up being a great because I learned more in those 6 months about the other side of the business that helped me when I ended up trying to get the deal with Showtime.
I think everybody, no matter that's in our business, faces a moment in their life where it's a crossroads, and
right.
And you have to decide, if you're going to get out of the business altogether, if you're going to sell real estate now, or if you're going to stay in the business but find this is an opportunity that the universe is presenting to you to do something different and still, like I'm finding now this acting thing that I'm going on for a lot of acting stuff. I like to act. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind doing more of it. I don't want to do it. I still love stand-up, but I get what you're saying. Kath, you feel that way? You ever?
Oh yeah, and I think you evolve too as a person, like
Right.
certain things that appeal to you at a certain age, you're like, okay, I'm over that, and
Right.
now I want to do this because, as you said, Carol, you learn certain things behind the scene. You're like, okay, I get that now, and
Yeah.
now you can move forward, and there's great joy in watching people succeed. To watch the next people reach
But
their
I feel
dreams.
like
And
I don't know if either of you feel that way. I feel like I haven't peaked yet comedically on stage. I haven't found. I keep moving towards something, but I don't know what it is.
Right.
And do you feel that way? Do you guys feel that way?
Well, I will tell you that I'm starting to look into speaking more, doing speaking engagements,
Mhm.
and talking. Like I really, especially with what's happening in the world right now, and I think people are not realizing that everything could. If people don't go out and vote,
Mm.
we won't even be able to do this podcast because you're
I'll be in
LGBT
prison somewhere.
right, LGBTQ,
Right.
we're women. So I just recently, what the hell is that noise?
I don't
Okay.
know.
No, we have construction right behind us. So I have
Oh.
jackhammers from 7 to 5 every day. So I thought maybe they showed up again and then I'd have to kill them. Anyway, so I was asked to do a friend of mine that had a podcast and she asked me to do this seminar and it was very funny. It was an all very female woke for, the art gallery was all vagina things, lots of vagina. And we sat there and we talked and I was there. We were talking about storytelling in the metaverse, and there was one woman who was really in the metaverse, and there was another woman who was a speaker and an author, and I was just sitting there like this, like, why am I on this panel? And then I realized as I start talking about what I, as far as being a not a promoter, but like a spokesperson for ageism and sexism, I realized, so that's something that's really starting to intrigue me. And the stuff that I'm writing, I may be doing another event similar to that in a couple of weeks, and it's the same type of thing where they're going to have panels about talking about what it is, what happens when you get older, so I think that's where I'm ending up. I don't know if that's going to end up being a solo show or if it's going to end up me going and doing a TED talk or going to colleges. Everything really depends on what happens in November. Seriously.
Well, I think the speaking becomes an extension of comedy where you're not worried about the laughs per minute.
Right.
Now you're worried about the messaging and you can deliver the laughs, but you don't have to worry about like, am I crushing? Am I killing?
Right.
It's more like, am I getting my message across? And so
well, both of these events, when I was talking to the different women that were involved in every event, it was like wild. They all talked about being invisible, that you become invisible at the same time.
When you're older, sure, yeah.
But it was, it was just fascinating. And then there was a couple of things that I had written them down somewhere, but there was a couple of things that I have said that somebody, what we call people in show business call people who are not in show business civilians. So to hear civilians have the same views as someone like me who's a creative, I was like, all right, this is something. I just haven't figured out what it is.
Well, we were talking, I don't know if you heard in the green room, we were talking earlier about Rose and about the people that are going or not going to see the movie.
Right.
And I think they're parallel. What you're talking about, ageism and homophobia, they're parallel. If people, we think we've evolved so much, but we haven't.
No.
I sometimes see, I've put up on Facebook, for instance, I'll talk about maybe a trans kid who was killed, something awful happens to him or her, and maybe one sad face, nothing, no comment. I put up a cat video or something I cooked, and suddenly it's like 400 people, and I sit back and I go, why don't they care?
Go ahead, Kat.
No, I'm sorry, Carol. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I think I don't think. First of all, who doesn't like a good cat video? Come on, I mean seriously, come on. or what, food and
Or,
like
or dancing vaginas, even.
right. But
Yeah.
like what's funny is like I haven't succumbed to TikTok. I refuse to do that. But I have succumbed to trying to do reels because that's supposed to be the big thing that you're supposed to do, and you have to make sure and so I've done a bunch of them, and none of them have got more. Most of them have gotten in the 500 to 600. A couple will go over 2,000. But I'm like, what is it that makes people that it becomes those million views? So that like I have no idea. I've seen comics who are younger and not as experienced having 10 million views, and I'm like, what's happening here? So getting back to what you're saying is you just don't know. As far as Bros, I'm going to see it because you're in it. I was like, as soon we watched who's the star of the movie? Billy. Yeah. So when Billy was on Letterman, this is how old I am.
This is why you don't have
Billy was on
millions of views
Carson.
Right. I said to my husband, we have to go see this. Julia's in it. And he's like, yeah, we're going to go see it. But I will say this because it is a gay love story. I think they just should have said it's a love story.
That's what it is.
But we are living in a time right now. If they had just put it like this clip that they showed us, that they showed on Colbert, was the one where they were in Central Park and there were guys playing behind them.
Oh yeah.
And then they fight and then they kiss.
Right.
And it was such a funny scene.
It's a very funny scene.
Right.
And there's dozens of them in the movie.
No, I know that, but I do think the problem is that as soon as some people in this country hear, oh, it's a gay love story, I don't want to see that. But if you just plugged it as a love story, I think they might have gotten more people. I don't know.
I don't either. And older comics, if they did, if we just did we're going to be tagged as like I was tagged as a trans comic right after AGT. Everything was trans comic Julia Scott. I started to believe that was my name, and it's weird. It's terrible to get a tag like that.
Right.
Well, but not terrible. It's just limiting.
Right. But by saying it's a gay love story, but just going, it's a love story, because that's really what it is. It doesn't matter if it's two guys or two girls or whatever. It's a love story.
But it also embraces the culture too, the gay culture, which is the point is made in the movie that gay loves is a lot different, right.
Than straight love. Absolutely.
Yeah. But
that just goes to the point of, like you just said, we're like everybody else, and me being a gay person, but then it's like gay love is not like straight love.
I didn't say we're like everybody else. I don't think we're like everybody else.
Well, no, but you get my point.
Yes, I do.
You understand what I'm saying.
But that was the point they were making. We LGBT community is our rules are different.
Right.
The goal is the same, is to fall in love and be loved.
Right. But look, whatever the money they made, when you're talking about 4 million or 8 million, it's still millions of dollars. I don't know how much it cost the movie to be made.
I'm sure it cost more than $8 million.
Julia got 4 million. So
yeah. I mean, she ate up the budget. I know, just from the coffee,
from the cameo.
They were very nice to me. But all right. But getting back to stand up and
yes.
What we do and where do we, what is our life? Do we have a shelf life? I mean, how long can we go on? You look at people
you have breath. I mean. Yeah. You always will have an opinion. You will always have something funny to say.
We need an audience.
Well, but we do have an audience. As you know, because you were at the with the first 2 tours. I mean, you saw the audience. It was mixed. Like people always go, it's mostly older women. I said, no, it's not. It's a lot of young people there. They bring their parents or they bring their boyfriend or girlfriend, and funny is funny. You know that, Julia. It doesn't, the problem, and I know that I've been told by other people who overhears it, like when my name is mentioned now, the younger comics are like, oh, all she does is talk about being old. It's like, yeah, fuck you, I do. You know what? If I don't talk about it, who
But
is
what are you
going
going
to
to talk about? Your
Right.
college loan or your one-bedroom
Well,
apartment?
Yeah.
you know, or I could be like a young male comic and go, so I was smoking weed in my parents' basement and I
Right.
was jerking off. Because, you know, that's so fucking original.
It's really
Do you know what I mean? It's like
good stuff.
I have something to say, and older people. And look, there are some young comics that I really like that are coming up that are, you know, they're really good. Taylor Tomlinson, I just adore. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's amazing. I mean, every time I watch her reels because that's what they do now, and I love her. I love Cameron Esposito. I think she's great. I mean, she's 40, but there's some really good comics coming through. It's not about age. It's about what you bring to the table. Be original. That's all I ask. Whether you're 12 or you're 80, just be original.
Yeah, and I think a lot of them are. A lot of them, I don't get out and see young comics much because because the shows are so late. And I can't
They're like
stay
8
up that
o'clock at
late.
night.
They're so late. I have to do I'm doing a spot tonight in the Village that I asked for, and it doesn't start till 10. And I'm like, what am I going to do? The good news is that they put me right on. Like I literally
Yeah.
go up, and it's pouring out. And I asked her for the spot, so I can't say I didn't want to come.
Where are you
'cause
at the
I'm
Greenwich Village?
Yeah,
Greenwich
down at the Pear, the Grizzly Pear. So, but
Oh, at the Grizzly Pear. Okay.
yeah, but that's the other thing you're talking about. One of the reasons that I don't really like comedy more is because it's late. This is no offense to our business, but this is a young person's game. You know, I mean, it's a young. I know. You have to. I know. That's why I created the show for us, Julia. That's why I created the show.
Yeah, our
It
shows
is
are
hard. It is
our shows
hard
are
to
like
be
5 in the afternoon.
You're kicking around at 9:30 in the club, and if you're the headliner, you don't go on until
Right.
10:30 sometimes. If the
Yeah.
show starts on time,
Right. My favorite gigs are the ones in like like the Holiday Inns where you just you know the show's at 9, you're in your room until 9:45. Say I'll be right down, come down the elevator and go right to the room, then go back up to because it's just I mean, but like we did matinees. We did a matinee in West
We
Palm.
did one matinee, yeah.
And that was the best show of the tour.
It was.
I thought.
I gotta say, yeah.
You know, I mean, the shows that we're doing shows in Florida, Julia and Leanne and I. I'm bringing the band back in Florida, and they're all matinees. I think they're like 2 in the afternoon.
We are when
I told Tom.
I don't. Okay.
can you two bicker?
When are they?
In February.
Oh, okay. Then I'll have to talk to Mr. Ingenio tomorrow.
Yes, they're in February, and they're in Florida. But they're matinees, which I love, and I'm trying to push as many matinees as I can. I think that's great. It's perfect for our show, especially, and for the acts themselves. This way, we could just stay home and watch 60 Minutes like we're supposed to.
Only now it takes us an hour and a half. Hey, all weekend, folks.
Who did you steal that from?
I don't remember, but
someone.
You're
gonna let her struggle.
No, don't let me struggle. First of all, I want to tell.
Yes,
I've got to tell the story because.
All right.
Shut up.
All right.
She was saying she likes to help people, and I do this to embarrass her, and I will tell her the story anyway. So I'm supposed to be on the first of the Funny Women of a Certain Age specials, right? Which I was honored to be asked in the first place. Well, about a month before, what did you say, Cal?
Well, no, a month before is when you went in for the heart surgery.
Right.
It was a week before we were supposed to take that. You pulled out.
Oh my God.
So December, Kath, you remember you were with me.
Yeah.
In December of 2000, what was that? 18?
Yeah.
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 Yep.
December 2018. My Christmas present was getting quadruple bypass surgery.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and so I was out for the count. But trooper that I am, I had been scheduled to do Carole's show taping in January 16th. But I think that was the day we taped, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you taped. And I fully intended. I told Kathy was with me. I told her I was going to do that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I laughed and laughed.
A week before. I don't even think I called you. Didn't Tom call you?
No, I think Tom called Dave, and
Tom called Dave. Okay.
and then Dave called me and went, "Julie can't do the show." And I was literally I was literally walking on 57th Street, and I was going, "Motherfucker!" I wasn't getting.
She didn't care that I was almost dead, but that's all that
No.
mattered.
Well, but also you forget. Besides that, remember Wendy Liebman had been in a car accident
That's right.
2 months before,
That's
so
right.
she couldn't do it. So what I said to the guy in charge of the production from Showtime, I said, "That's the problem with hiring older women, is that some of them are going to die."
Nice. Well, now I'm not going to say the nice thing about you. So I get back. They tape the show. I start working again in March of 2019. She says to me, I don't know if there's going to be a second show, but I think she already knew. But she said, I don't know if there's going to be a second special, but if there is, you're the first person I'm going to call. And I don't think I was the first person she called anyway. But that's not the point. True to her word, she called me and said there's going to be a second special, and she put me on. And for that, I will be forever indebted to her. And that's a friend, that's a friend. And
look, you were one of the first people. Like, what? Okay, so what happens when we go through the casting of it? A lot of people don't understand that, because there are women that are like, I can't believe you didn't put me on the show. I'm like, okay, I don't have as much control as you think I do. Okay, I get to pick certain people, but in the end, whoever I choose, Showtime still has to approve them. So if you look at every special, there's like one really close friend in every special. Do you know what I mean? Because then that's the person who I keep going, nope, that's this one. You know what I mean? So, of course I was gonna. Why wouldn't I do that? Why wouldn't I? I mean, I understand that people in show business suck, and they're like, well, we don't need her now because And I told her, I said, after I did offer the gig, I said, now if you get sick again, we're coming to the hospital. We will be taping the sets from your bed. But I do also want to bring up something about, do you remember the phone call you had because you were worried about what other people were going to say? Because
I was going to bring that up, but you say it. You go ahead.
I actually, in this first this seminar that I did, I talked about you and about that I was appalled that you felt the need to, not appalled, that's not the right word, that you thought that because technically cis women would give me grief about it. And I was like, it's my fucking show and you're doing the show. And it broke my heart that you had to even feel that way, because why would anybody doubt that you were a funny woman?
Well, that you don't, and Kathy doesn't, but this is the bros argument all over again.
Right.
There are.
She doesn't let things go, Kathy.
No,
I know.
I mean, like a hound dog on a sleeve.
Yeah. With a piece of liverwurst in my mouth. There are people that felt that way. That I'm sure felt that way. That didn't tell you, or maybe they did tell you. I don't know if they did or not. But I didn't want to. Here's the thing. I didn't want to put my friend you in a position of being uncomfortable or feeling any kind of obligation because we were friends. I just wanted you to if you were going to put me on, I wanted you to put me on because I was funny.
Well, that's why I put you on.
Yeah, that's why you fucking made me close the show too. You didn't know that, did you, Kathy? Did you know that?
I think. After the fact,
closed,
I did.
She closed the second special.
Yeah.
And she. I said, you're closing, and she looked at me like, what?
Wait. First of all, go over the lineup of that second special.
I know who was on that show.
Well, not for you, but for our 6 listeners. Go over the lineup.
Caroline Ray, Wendy was on the third special. Thea Vidal, Tammy Pescatelli. Who am I missing? Me. You. Who am I missing? Oh, Carol Leifer. So it was a pretty stacked lineup, but they're all stacked lineups.
Yeah, all stacked. And she comes to me an hour before the show, and she goes, "Oh, by the way, you're closing." Just like that. Not even sitting me down as if to tell me that, I'm
But
going to get my period someday and I should be prepared for it.
when
Oh,
two
by the way,
people
you're
love
cussing.
each other,
Right, two people love each other.
Yeah, but listen, but here's the deal. What she's not saying, okay, is that is an old response that every comic has that, oh my God, I have to follow all of these killers. I'm not going to be able to do that. And I looked her in the eye and I said, are you going to trust me? Have you trusted me so far? And she was like, yes. And I went, then shut the fuck up and go on stage. And she crushed it.
There's only one other person that could have gotten away with that, and she's in the middle square here, rectangle. She
Right.
did that with me with AGT.
but but that's your friendship, and that's the longevity you have, where you trust people to go. If it's anybody that you don't know, that you don't have that relationship with you, that tells you that, you get mad at them.
Right.
But because you know Carol and you know me, that you trust our opinions, I think.
But here's the deal also, okay, and this is going to make me sound very, very cocky, but the level of talent that I have on these shows
Right.
is spectacular. And I saw every single show from the moment the show starts. There's this magic in the air. Nobody does better than anybody. Everybody destroys. It happened first special, happened the second. It happened on the third special. Because you see the people, they're so excited about being there. And like for the third special we shot in LA, there must have been at least a dozen female comics that drove from fucking Los Angeles to Irvine, which is like 90 minutes away. And LA people don't like to drive. There was this whole contingency of comedians that came to see the show because they knew what I was trying to do. Okay, so when I say to you, look, I know exactly how I used to have to follow Joe Rogan when I was a cute little blonde thing, in the mid 80s, when he wasn't Joe Rogan, but he was still a powerful stand-up, and I would have to follow him every Saturday night at the Comedy Store in the main room.
Wow.
And you know what? You bite you go, well, this is the spot they gave me, and you do your job. And we forget that as comedians, we wouldn't be in the position of doing this if we weren't good at what we do. That's where when it comes to this part of my show, it's like I only choose the best female comics.
It's funny, to dovetail on that, like you build your chops and you learn how
Right.
to follow a great act. And although we're taping this show 8 years ago today, Julia was in a comedy contest in Laughlin, Nevada. And I think this was the first time that you like were in the top 3. And by making that top 3, because you had to follow some guy that blew the roof off the joint. I mean, blew it apart. And you had to come up and clean that up and follow that. Not clean it up because he was great, but just like come out and establish your own identity. And that's when you really learn who. And so 8 years ago today, when you found out that you had won and, or was one of the winners and had, it validates everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm on the right track and I'm not, whatever. And so the same with you, Carol, like being able to come on after Joe Rogan, not that he was a great stand-up or is a great stand-up, but just that energy and that, what the people were coming for from him, and your act is what it is, different perspectives. And it's like, okay, you can get those people on your side, and that's where you build your chops.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer in, I always want to follow somebody who's going to be killing. That's the whole thing about, they're killing ahead of me, is just a fear from comedy that we all have. I'm sure that Amy Schumer has it. I'm sure that Jay Leno, I'm sure, like whoever you're following, you're like, oh, this motherfucker.
Which is why you pick the people when you get to be really, really successful. You pick your opening act so that they can set the tone.
Right.
They're not too funny.
Right.
But they're funny enough, and they just set you up for, the TV.
Well, I think, Julia, you know Dennis Blair, right?
Sure.
Remember? Okay. So Dennis used to be George Carlin's opening act. And Dennis is a very funny guy. But what George did with him is, because he was very not middle, but he wasn't edgy the way George was. So
Right.
he would always use that as a litmus test to see what his opening line would be. So the night that we saw him, Dennis is having a great show. And George comes out, and the first line he does is he goes, "You ever notice the people who are against abortion are the ones you wouldn't want to fuck anyway?" And Todd and I were dying, and you could tell the audience was like, "Okay, this is going to be a different show now." So, but you know what I mean? Like when I used to open up for Carrot Top when I was living in Vegas for like I opened from a couple of times, and it was the same type of thing. They don't want somebody to be really powerful because then it takes away from them.
Right.
And that's why it was only his opening act for like 2 weeks, because he was like, "Nope, I don't want her anymore." I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
Well, that's how I got the first time around. Well, the second time around, that's how I got when I came back. Nobody wanted to headline me.
Right.
They didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Right.
And I had to just go up and consistently,
Right.
to the point where the headliners are going, I don't want to work with her again.
Right.
Right.
And
Well,
that,
but those are different reasons, or no, not that, but like, never mind. I'm thinking.
But
something.
somebody's always gunning for you is what I'm
Right,
trying
exactly.
to say.
Yeah, like I remember there was I forgot who it was. I really don't. I would tell you if I know, because me, I don't give a shit about talking about people. But I was still featuring at one point, and I got a call from my manager saying that so and so doesn't want to work with you anymore because he can't follow you because you're too dirty. And I went, "No, it's because I'm funnier than he is. That's why he doesn't want."
Yeah, see, I would never have the
Right, but getting back to why Julia just she went up and we had Regina DeChico is the best warm up act in this act in the city. She warmed she goes in, she warmed him up. You know that when you went out that you could feel it. You could just feel this is a magical thing.
Yeah, by the first laugh, everything goes. It's like giving birth. Once you get the first laugh and it's over, the rest of it is now I can hold the baby and and nurse it and everything else. So
you forget about the pain 9 months later.
You do forget about the pain. You do. You forget about the 40 years of pain and the nights of horror and the nights of people booing you and throwing shit at you. Yeah, you forget all about that.
I never had that. Everyone loved me right from the beginning.
You're right though.
Have you ever had anything thrown at you, Carole?
I haven't had anything thrown at me, but they were early on in my career. I was doing some shows, some shitty bar here in New York, and some guy heckled me, and I pride myself on being a very good dealer of hecklers. And I went back and forth with him, and he got up and started walking towards the stage as if he was going to hit me. And all the comics, and this is the difference it was because there wasn't as many. All the guys stood in front of the stage and wouldn't let him get near me.
Yeah,
that's great.
So I've had that, and then the Rainy Night House. Julia did the Rainy Night House.
Yeah.
It was a bar, and then there was chicken wire over the stage. And
it sounds like Roadhouse, the movie Roadhouse.
Yeah,
there were clubs down south that I did that where there was chicken wire too. Yeah,
yeah, and they would throw things at you.
Mhm.
The ye old Triple Inn, which was on 54th
Oh Jesus
Street.
Christ!
Yeah, let me tell you, and you tell it. But they used to have a dartboard right next to the stage. So like here's me, and like the dartboard was right here.
Yeah.
So if they didn't like you, they started throwing darts at the dartboard.
It was a very narrow. As I recall, it was a narrow club. It wasn't.
Oh yeah, very narrow. Like
wasn't a spacious club.
No.
Yeah, but the dartboard. Well, it's funny. Every time I watch the movie, Somebody Up There Likes Me with Paul Newman, where he plays Rocky Graziano, there's a scene in there right toward the end where he's coming out of the Triple Inn. I mean, the movie was shot in the late 50s, I think. But every time it comes out, they go, Triple Inn.
We've all had places like that, but there are people that are older that are starting out doing comedy now, and I can't even fathom. I would not have the energy to do that now. Like this is all I can ever do. Do you know what I mean? Like so, but I have 40 years behind me. I can't imagine doing this job now, and trying to make it. I'd kill myself.
I don't know how you make it now. We had a different bag of tools, a box of tools for making it.
We did. Absolutely, we did.
Back then, Kathy you got with a home club. And if they took a liking to you,
Right.
they
Oh,
put you up
sure.
for all TV shows and shit like
Yeah.
that, and you
I
worked. It's
I
not like
opened for
that.
Pauly Shore at the Improv in
Wow.
Pittsburgh, and like
Wow.
you, Carol, like nobody wanted you to do better than they did, and like he struggled, but
Right.
he became famous because of his mom
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
having the club in California, and but
But did he sustain that? I think talent will out eventually.
Well,
he
the thing with Paulie, I remember when he was Paulie, like because I was at the Laugh Factory when he was doing that, and there's just certain people they're going to succeed because
yeah
it was the persona, the dude with the long hair.
yeah
The same thing with Tim Allen. I saw Tim Allen. I called my husband up from a payphone and said, because I opened for him, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's going to be huge."
Mhm.
You just there's
Well,
but
Jerry
I
Seinfeld was like that too.
right.
Hung around when he was already kind of established at the Improv when I passed auditions there, and he was like a golden child. I mean,
Right.
everything was just coming to him,
yeah.
and you
But there are
knew it.
certain, but I have yet to see that with today's crop.
I was gonna say, is there anyone on the horizon that you think is that?
That I think is really good. Liz Mealy is amazing. Mike Cannon is amazing. Gina Brion is amazing. But they've also been in the bit. Like I knew the three people I just named. They were puppies when I came back from Vegas 16 years ago,
Right.
and they are just starting to hit their stride. Like
It takes time.
Yeah,
But that sounds about right,
time.
time-wise.
right.
That sounds about right.
Right. But like one of the things I was talking to another young comic about, this is a while ago. This is going to say, this is not a put down of comedy, but when I would watch, like, okay, I always talk about Pryor's first special, when he talks about the heart attack and and he's on the floor. I have seen that movie a billion times. And when he does that bit, I cry, laughing, like I'm holding myself. I don't think there's so many comics now. There's none of that crushing the way, like even Rogan. When Rogan, I'm telling you, he used to do a thing about tigers fucking, and it was this big whole thing, and the energy, and people were dying. And then, like I said, I'd have to go, but people were holding them. They were holding their stomachs. They were laughing so hard. I have not yet to see that. I mean,
Right.
like I said, maybe with Liz and Mike and with Gina, they have that potential to be that great. But that nobody strives for that anymore. Nobody strives for that. Just
You think? You think?
Oh wait, no, because no, they don't, because every comic will say, like, I'm really picky on my sets. I've always been this way. Like I'll walk off after. The only set I'm proud about is the third special, which I'll tell you about, Kathy, in a second. That I was like, oh yeah, I really nailed that. But for the most part, I never say that. But every comic I talk to goes, oh yeah, oh man, I just crushed that room. It's like,
Yeah.
first of all, there was 20 people. It wasn't a sold out room because it was free. Like there's a different level of that getting in by. That's what I'm talking about. May I tell the third special story? Okay, so we found out we were getting the third special during the pandemic, and nobody was working, and so I had to. And I've never considered myself a writer. The last few years I did, but the last special, Todd and I, my husband, we had to craft a new set, because one of the things I was doing, when life was normal, is I would be like, the second special, I'll just do the bits about Lane, and the first special, I'm going to do like I had enough to do for my. First of all, it was a year, nobody had worked, so who the fuck remembered my act? I mean, I didn't remember my act, so I was like, so I had to write a brand new set, which we did, and then of course we went out, and like I said, young person's game. I'm out doing these fucking shows in Bushwick and fucking Pitt-Stuy and, hipsters doing this while I'm not laughing, but doing this bullshit. When I go to do the show, I'm doing the set and I'm having the set of my life. I really do think that was the best set I've ever done. And I look to the right of me, and Kristen, our director in the second special, is waving at me from the side. And I'm thinking, and I'm still doing my set, because you get into that bizarre thing where you're doing it, but you're watching, And I'm like, Kristen shouldn't be over here. She should be in the back in the video village. Why is she over here? And she's doing this and she's doing that. And finally I turn to her, I go, what the fuck do you want? And she goes, the light blew out behind you. We have to do the set again.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You didn't know this, Julie? I didn't tell you the story?
No.
Okay. So I looked at her and I went, so like from here, right? I have to like, we'll cut this and I'll just, she goes, no, you have to start it from the beginning.
Oh my God. What a nightmare.
So I didn't even, but here, and talking about fears, Julia, like everything fears that we've had in our lives when it comes to this business, I had worked this set so fucking much that I didn't have the chance to react. Because I said, okay. And I said, by the way, let's have a hand for my lovely director. And I looked at the audience and I went, here's what's happening. This is a live TV show. I said, we have to redo the whole thing. And the audience was like, oh, I said, okay, now you can stop. You have to react as if you've never heard me do this show, this. And it was literally probably 7 minutes. I said, you have to act as if, I said, so let me tell you something. If you don't react the way I expect you to react, I will hunt you all down and kill you. And then if I took a minute, it probably wasn't even that. I said, okay, I'm ready to go. You guys ready? You ready? Kristen, you back there? Hey, and I went right into it as if nothing had happened. And the audience, God bless them. They acted as if I was the funniest fucking person in the world.
You bring to mind, I question the wisdom of her stopping the show because of a light bulb. But you bring to mind, I understand that, but I'm reading James Burrows' book. You know, Jim Burrows.
Yeah. I have that book too.
And at the end, he talks about a lot of technical stuff that he does when he directs TV shows.
Right.
And one of the things he said is he never yells cut if he doesn't have to.
Right.
Because if somebody does something that he'll make a gesture and the actor can see it and they can rectify it, but he never stops tape. And I think that rule should have applied to you, especially for a stand-up comic, to stop a set like that. No, it
was, what was funny was it blew out early on. So I found out later on that they were all having a discussion because the Showtime guy was there and he's like, you have to stop it. We can't, it's for continuity and nobody knew what to do.
Yeah.
So they were all,
I hate to say it, but you do have, I'm sorry about my cat or what is but he came, as a Showtime, you do have to stop it because you need the continuity, you need that polish.
And but Showtime, they went, no, you have to. So while this is all happening, I'm doing this, and they're fighting. The three of them are fighting. The producer, the director, and the Showtime exec are like, you have to stop it. I don't know. She's doing. It was like this whole thing. So I forgot why I was. Oh yeah. So I was so secure in that. But I'm never that person. Literally when I walked off stage, everyone in the green room went, wow, I'm so glad that wasn't me.
Yeah. Well, speaking of saying cut, do you like what you see what I did?
Yeah, you did that.
We're gonna have to say cut because we've been on for like an hour and 15 minutes according to this. And our little podcast is usually only about 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
Wow. Well,
so we may have to break you up into two parts. You'd be right. The only other person we did that with was Bill Persky. Was the only other one.
Bill Persky.
You are right up there with Bill Persky.
Well, that is a nice compliment.
Good company to be with.
Good company to be with.
You should. You didn't see that show? You should watch that show. He was.
Well, terrific. I don't know where to find this show. So where do we find this show?
Jim, are you there, Jim? There he is. This is Jim, our producer, James.
Hi, Jim.
Tell the young woman where she can find our show and our 6 listeners.
Oh, you need to put that sound on.
My mic was off. You didn't want to hear the
sound
train.
Man.
You didn't want to hear the 9 trains going by during your podcast. You can find us at Comedy Centric on YouTube and on Spotify and on basically all the platforms. Comedy Centric or Comedy Centric Podcast.
And we have a Facebook page too, right?
Yes.
When will this air? Or did it already air?
This will air on Friday.
Okay. I will.
And We're only at 58 minutes because I turned it on a little early because you and Kathy were really funny.
Oh,
So,
all right. Well, you want to?
so
Wait,
I'm gonna.
No, I'm tired. I need to nap before I
Are
do
you
my
spent? You're spent, aren't you?
I got that 10 o'clock spot. It's gonna kill me to
I
go down
know.
there
All
in the
right. Well,
rain.
I gotta say, I want to thank you because you know how much I love you, my sister.
I love you too.
Carol, will you come back?
Sure. I have to get a cat though, because everybody has a
I'm
fucking
so
cat.
sorry. This guy, he's compelled by what you're
I
saying.
know.
He will not leave me alone.
I'll ask Lane to let me borrow his cat because that's
Okay.
my grand cat. So maybe I'll come.
You want to plug anything before you go?
Yeah, we're doing Sellersville, PA. We're doing a Funny Women show there October 14th. And I'm doing a show at the Tribeca Performing Arts Center on October 29th. And then just watch the series. And if you have seen the Showtime series and you like the Showtime series, write to Showtime. Don't, write to them, email them, tweet at them. Why isn't there any more of these? We want more. Because
I'm going to give you a little compliment because I was at a gig a couple of weeks ago. And normally people come up and they go, and when they say, gee, I loved you so much on, and it's usually followed by HET, which I love. This time it was, I saw you on that Showtime show with the women. It was so good. So it was very, and I gave her the name of the, show.
The Showtime show with the women.
With the women. With the
Showtime show. You mean
with the broads?
Do you mean the Handmaid's Tale? Is that the one we're
Handmaid's
talking
Tale? Yes.
You know what I want to do, and we there was a slight chance that we were going to shoot this summer, and then we were going to try to. I wanted them to air the special like the night before the election. So what I was going to do, I still may do it whenever we do is I was going to act, because I do a little opening. I always do an opening, Kathy, before the show.
Right.
So I was going to come out in the Handmaid's Tale outfit, and I was going to have the bonnet and and just walk out and whatever it is under his eye or something, and then pull everything off and go fuck the Supreme Court, and then it would have started the show.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
that would have been a great opening.
Yeah, so hopefully, well,
let's hope you don't have to do that. Let's hope you don't have to do that. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we never have a way to say goodbye other than to say goodbye. Goodbye.
You come back.
Yeah. I will come back anytime. I love talking about it, and I love you guys, and But let me I have to end with Leanne's thing. May I tell her what Leanne said?
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Because I think Kathy will appreciate it. Mm-hmm. So, we've been on the road now, a couple of shows and everything, mm-hmm. coffee. We have to have coffee and
wine.
And wine. Well, that just for me. So she says to Leanne, she goes, "Can I ask you a stupid question?" And Leanne goes, "Better than anyone I ever met." And if that does not describe my dear friend Julia Scotti, I don't know what is.
I love you both. I love you, Carol. I love you, Kath. And
thank you, Carol.
All right, I'm going to go take a nap now because I have to be up in fucking 3 hours.
Okay, well, spread the word about
those kids' asses.
Yeah, and just send me the actual link and I'll post it on Friday.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, baby.
Bye.
Break a leg tonight.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, that was fun, right?
Charlie liked it.
Charlie loved it. That's the nice thing about this show. It's like family, cats, dogs, friends. It's fun. I had a good time. I always have a good time. Did you have a good time?
I did. Carol is she's all she's the whole package. She's a nice woman. She's funny. She's she's talented.
There's no pretense about her. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, she'll tell you if she loves you. She'll tell you if you're a jerk.
Yeah. And mean both of those things.
I know. So go, I love you, you jerk.
We'll close in a second, but I want to say that when I came back, and as Julia, I was the people I let into my life. Very rare did I. You know this. You know me well, and I'm loath to let new people into my life because I don't trust many people. She is one of those people. You, of course, are one of them. But I mean, she is also one of them, and I trust her, and I never feel like she's bullshitting me. She's not snowing me. You know that with her, And so I'm very blessed to have people like her, and of course you in my life.
No, she's the real deal, and
Right.
we are lucky, and you know what? Comedy's better for her being,
Yes,
doing what she's doing because
yes,
the people of a certain age have more, as much, if not more, to
that's right.
say and offer than
So
kids that are not kids, but
eh,
people that
the
don't
kids
have
have
as much
something to
life
say too.
experience. What?
But the kids have something to say. But
They do too, but I'm
we have
just saying,
different things
like,
to say.
the misery comedy comes from misery, and as you get older, you get miserable. And so
Well,
we have a well of
of
stuff to
misery.
pull from.
Well, I'm gonna please tell your friends about Comedy Centric. Number one, number two. If you're really interested in a good love story, a funny love story, go see Bros. Give it, open your heart up, open your head up. It's a funny, funny movie. And I'm not saying that because I'm in it, but well, I am saying it because I'm in it. But I would say it anyway because I lived. And we've got. I don't know what she's doing. What are you
So
doing?
you said number one, and
Oh,
you
number
said number
one.
two, and I was waiting for number three.
Did I get number two?
Number two
Use
was Bros.
Right. Well, number three, use bamboo toilet paper for number two
Right.
because it doesn't, not the movie, actual number two, because you're saving the planet. You're not killing trees by using it. And that's about it. You want to say anything, Kath?
Thank you.
All right, Jimmy, play us out, baby.